Hey, all back out in the garage again, so let's take a look and see what we got going today.
No, you're not bringing home another piece of junk.
Okay, so my steering joint came in, and I've got it up on there, and I just kind of did a little tack weld on each side to, because like this side is not splined, it's just a smooth connection, so you got to weld this side. There's no set screw. Now that's a double D connection, so there is a set screw, but I'm just going to put a couple dots of weld on there that just to make sure that thing, if that set screw would ever come loose, if that's not going to come apart. I'm not going to fully weld this. I am going to fully weld this, but when I'm doing these, I don't want to get this too hot and boil all the grease out of this little U-joint, so I'm just kind of doing a little section at a time and letting it cool off. But this shaft works much better with that single joint. We got the shaft cut. It turns smooth all the way around, no interference, and I like it. So I pretty much consider that part done, except for doing that little welding in there. So next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to start working on this. I want to get this throttle body rebuilt and get it on there. So I went ahead and put my adapter plate on there, and I've got to get some countersunk screws for these front ones because the throttle body lands on those. And you can see in here that there's a little bit of the aluminum intake sticks into here. And so I put the throttle body on there and set it, and it does not interfere with the flappers. I thought about grinding that out and making it smooth, and it's like, if I'd have noticed it before I put the intake on there, I might have. But for a little 283, I don't think it's going to be that big a deal. I guess I could hold a vacuum cleaner in here and kind of grind those out and do it, but I'm not going to worry about it. I'm just going to leave it. I ran into that on another engine I did, and it's really no noticeable difference. Like I said, we're not trying to make a race car here. This is just a cruiser. So I started looking at the throttle bodies here, and so one of the things you got to look at is what injectors you have. And if you these GM injectors are color coded, so if you look at these, it's got a little orange paint and a little black paint on the back. Same with this one, and it's the same with these. So these are for 350. They're 55-pound injectors. I really wanted 40-pound injectors for a 305 because I figure we're 283, board 60 over, a little bit of a cam, not much, set of headers, so we're probably in the cubic inches, probably still isn't at 305, but I'm had to calculate it out. But I definitely don't want to overfuel it and have it running fat. You can adjust the fuel map when you get into these TBIs, so I'm going to go ahead and go with what I got, and we'll just see how it runs. We'll see if it runs too fat, and if it does, we'll get a pair of 40-pound injectors and put them in there. But let's just try it and see. So essentially what I want to do first is, these are both the same. It doesn't matter which one I use. I guess I'll use this one. I want to clean these injectors, and I want to clean them internally. So you can't just spray stuff in there. I want to actually clean the inside of the injector. So I've got a rig I made years ago to clean injectors with, and we're going to adapt it to this and see if we can make it work. So let me find all my stuff, and we'll see what we got. All right, so I made this little injector cleaner years ago, and all it is a piece of pipe. I got a nipple on the bottom, and I got you can, if you're doing like a single injector, you can run this hose to the top of your injector, but since we're doing a throttle body, I just ran it into the line, the supply line from the throttle body, cap the return, Then I've got an air valve on top of here. I think I need my bigger channel locks. Oh, man, that thing's been on there for a while. It's tight. Break that loose. I'll be right back. All right, I had to get pipe wrenches out for that. Anyway, pull this cap off of here. Now I got my air hose regulator turned down to 20 pounds. We don't need a whole lot of pressure. So now I'm gonna take some sea foam. We're gonna fill this dude up. This makes a pretty good injector cleaner. Back on. Close that. Air hose up here. I'm gonna check my gauge and make sure I'm still on about 20 pounds. Hang on just a second. Okay, still good there. Now I need a power source. I'm going to use my battery charger, and then each injector here has a, 2 terminals on it. So we're going to ground one, and then I'll just kind of tap on the other one. Oops, that didn't work. Kind of small. Let's see if I got a jumper wire somewhere. If I can do that. See if you can see all that. That's a little better. So, using my battery charger for power, like I said. And I'll ground one side of the injector. Put this to ground. This will be hot for the injector. And on the 2 amp thing, it's probably plenty. Now, let me open this valve, pressurize it, make sure this thing doesn't blow apart on me. Oop. Got a leak down there. Get it out. Got a little bit of a leak, not terrible. Alright, so let's see what we got here. Okay. I'm not getting any. anything. Let me check my line pressure over there. It's pressurized. That injector may just be completely clogged up. Pressure. So what should happen when you're doing that should pressurize that fluid. And it should be flowing through here out this injector, but it's not. I think that one is stopped up. Let's try this other one. Nothing there either. So it could be this regulator on here is not working. Let me let's check this line and make sure that we're getting stuff out of here. Yep, it was going up in there. Open this up, I should get flow. Oh, yep. Getting much on anything, just getting there. All right. Let me do a little troubleshooting, pull this thing apart, and we'll try it again. Okay, so for whatever reason, I could not get any flow through these injectors. So I don't know if these little screens in here are clogged, or maybe the regulator's bad. I got flow down through here, I got flow through this tube, but it's just not happening. And I'm pretty sure that is, yeah, that looks like that is the side for the regulator side, and this would be the return side. So I don't think I have them backwards. All right, so I guess we're just gonna go ahead and pull this thing apart, pull the injectors out of it, and just let them soak and change the screens on them and see if that does it. So let me pull the top off this thing and take a look. It usually works pretty good, so, but these things hang around for years without moving. I know this this van was parked since 2004, so it's been sitting a long time. So like I said, it could just be stuck and gummed up in there, but either way, we'll get them freed up, or we'll buy another pair of injectors. So not a whole lot to taking one of these apart. Not a whole lot of parts to the kit. Basically a few O-rings, few gaskets, a new little regulator, and then just clean up the, blow through the air passages, clean up the throttle body bores, clean off the little butterflies. makes me think there's might be some old crud in this thing. Those long ones go on top. I believe that is all screws. Gotta take these off to change that gasket, but usually I can get this cap off first. Let's see. There we go. I see a lot of junk in there. That's your regulator. I can get these out without destroying them. Ooh, things are in there. Come on. Yeah, there's definitely some crud down in there. Oh yeah, a bunch of crud down in there. So we're gonna have to clean all those passages out. Ah! Flip. Yep. There's all kinds of crust and goo in there. There's a little passage down there is where everything pressurizes and goes through this little screen around here and then down through the injector. I'll tell you what, those don't look that great. I think I might go ahead and pull them out of here too and see if these look any better. These are definitely cleaner. Let's see what these look like. I'm gonna just swap this whole piece on there. Same injectors. I'd rather try to just swap this whole assembly in there instead of trying to clean all that crap out of there. So funny here, Vice Grip Garage fans, I saw Derek has a new show on motor trend. It's called, what is it called? Roadworthy Rescue, I think, or Roadworthy Renovation. But yeah, Motor Trend picked this show up off of YouTube, and I watched the first episode today, and it was really good. So if anybody hasn't heard of that, and you got Motor Trend, make sure you check that out. It's well worth watching. That looks in better shape than that does right off the bat. So does this. And these definitely come out. Oh yeah, these look much better. So there's your little splotch of orange paint. So like orange and black, that's your 55-pound injector. And then I think there's a green and white is 40 pounds or something like that. You can look it up. There's a little screen down on here that pops off, and you can clean that, or you replace that. Screwdriver so we can get it off. So this little screen down there. There it goes. So when you clean these up, you replace that. So what I'm going to do, and that comes in the kit. These look pretty good. So I'm going to find something and soak these overnight. And we're going to use them. I'll just use that sea foam, and we'll just put them down in there like that. Let all that stuff get in there. It should break up any of that varnish. Let me see what I can find. Yeah, I'll have to go in and find something to set them down in, let them soak. So we'll use this. We'll use this piece. I'll take this piece off, and we'll put, we'll change out that regulator there. We'll let this soak overnight, and we'll throw this thing back together. I got to find a couple of bolts, and we'll get this dude put on there. All right, let me go find something to soak these things in. Okay, so I've got these injectors soaking in the sea foam, and we're going to leave them in there overnight. And kind of here's the kit you get. You get your regulator, get your little gaskets and your O-rings, got your injector screens in there. I took the bottom half of this throttle body and just cleaned it all up, blew it out with some air, blew all the passages out. One thing I don't like about this kit so far, it's an eBay kit. That gasket is really thick and that one is not, so hopefully that seals all right. But we bought it, we're going to use it. So there are also some places who sell kits to upgrade your fuel pressure on these, to where you can actually get like an adjustable regulator, and it comes with a different cap that's got a screw in it, and then a different spring. Like I said, if you're just building a stocker, I wouldn't worry about it. If you're building something performance, you're probably not going to go with TBI anyway. So, okay, this looks like it fits. Let's see. little bit different, but I'm gonna assume it's gonna work. It's got a little floaty thing on it. This does not have a little floaty thing. All right. I'm gonna use you anyway. I honestly don't remember who made this kit. I just bought, oops, put that in there, don't you? Just looked up TBI rebuild kit on eBay, and there was about 7,000 choices, so I, all about $25, so I just picked one. Yeah, don't let go of that thing. It'll take off on you. Take it, twist it up in there. So easier than rebuilding the carburetor. There's just not many parts to them. Okay. So we're using that cap. Yep, that's a good cap. I'll have to clean this gasket off of here. Clean this gasket off of here. We'll swap them out. But we'll go ahead and let these soak overnight. And let that stuff get up in there. And probably tomorrow, or today's Wednesday, tomorrow, Friday, I'm going to ball game Friday. Next clip of this video, we'll put this dude back together. We'll get it bolted on there. And I just got tune-up parts in, so my cap and rotor and wires are going in. Those are going to be going on. We need to rig up a fuel system. We need to wire the thing, and we're getting ready for a test fire before too long here, so we're looking good. Okay, I'll pick this up shortly. All right, so I got these injectors out of the seafoam. I was soaking them in, and I figured out what I did wrong last night. I had the supply and the return backwards, so the big line is the supply and the small line is the return. Well, I was trying to pump that seafoam in the wrong direction, which is why I couldn't get nothing out of it. So, but I already got it disassembled, so we're just gonna go ahead and put it back together. I soaked these overnight. Hopefully they'll work okay. Like I said, I may end up going with the 305 injectors anyway, so we'll kind of see what happens. I wish I realized what I did last night. You could have seen that thing work. Ooh, getting cold. Anyway, so I just slid this little screen on here, and then you got two O-rings to change in here. You got this bottom one down here, and you got this one here. And so what I do is I just put a little dab oil on this thing, because they're a little finicky to shove in there. A little oil there, a little oil around here, just to help it slip down over those O-rings and not tear them. There's a little pin there. It goes into a hole there.
Would your business survive a disaster? Nearly
So you gotta
2/3
kind
of
of
businesses aren't prepared for
get it
emergencies,
lined up
and 40%
in the
of
bottom,
businesses that
that
experience
bottom
disaster
O-ring.
never recover. Make an emergency plan now before it's too late. For a free online tool that helps you develop an emergency plan to keep your business up and running should
Come
disaster
on now.
strike, visit ready.gov.
You feel it snap down in there when it goes.
By the Federal Emergency
There it
Management
goes.
Agency, the American Red Cross, and the Ad Council.
Okay, looks good. Just gotta make sure you don't tear your O-ring when you do that. Okay, so let's see. We need, and what I did on this, I just went ahead and took some carb cleaner, cleaned this all up, blew some carb cleaner down in all these holes, got all the old gaskets out, took my air hose, blew it all out. So not a whole lot to do with that. We changed the regulator last night. We saw that. I don't think there's an O-ring on this one. Nope. Man, I'm getting a runny nose. Okay, so gasket. Put this dude on here. We're going to put this dude on here.
On average, they could count on losing 10 more games than they won every year. In 61 years, they won more games than they lost only 21 times. And in the 53 seasons after 1900,
This little
they achieved that high plateau only 13
nub here
years.
goes down to that gasket, so I'm going
Five
to
four of them before the turn of the 20th
put just a
century.
dab of oil on that
They
so it'll
finished
slip down in there
only 20th after 1900.
and not tear that
They finished
gasket.
last or next to last 22 times in their last 53 years as a team. And in the second division of their league, 40 times in those first 53 years, considered modern baseball. The story of this beloved team.
I'm Miles Strait. I'm a deputy warden at the Jefferson City Correctional Center, the Missouri Department of Corrections. I think a lot of people, when they look at corrections, they think, oh, I couldn't do that job.
I do not want to go down in there.
It's dangerous. They're apprehensive about pursuing a career.
Okay, let's put it on here.
Is that most of the time in corrections, you're just dealing with people. Corrections is an exciting career. If you're the type of person that likes to stay applied by,
Don't tear it,
enjoy
baby.
the jobs, you need to apply today.
Secure your future. To apply, text DOC to 44844. Be on the lookout for small changes, like swelling, headaches, and not feeling quite right. Too many women die from pregnancy-related
Looks good.
complications each year in Missouri. Death can occur during and up to a year after pregnancy. It doesn't have to be that way.
Alright, so that goes there.
Know the warning. Hear her concerns. You can help save her life.
Gonna make sure to change this little gasket here. And then we got this gasket up here.
It was a team that once
This
sent a
way.
midget to the plate. It was a team that once had an one-armed outfielder.
So not a whole lot to this, just
Walked off the field after his men
take it
lost
apart and put it back
his
together,
job.
essentially.
I've seen everything and quit, but he hadn't seen everything.
Throw a couple of these in there so it's
St. Louis was first in shoes,
staying together.
first in booze,
I did go by and get me some
the beginning of the St. Louis Browns was the reminiscence of their ending.
some of the screws I needed too.
Henry Sexton got together a team that was responsible by the Cincinnati Red Stockings, the great team. In the mid-1870s, the St. Louis Empires, that Sexton had put together, changed their name to St. Louis Brown Stockings and moved into Sportsman Park. In 1876, the Browns were 45-19. They finished second. Their pitcher was George Bragg. Their only pitcher, his season's record was 45-19. The next year, they were fourth in the 16 league. In 1885, they had a skinny first baseman by the name of Charles Comiskey, who captained the team to 4 straight league championships. Comiskey soon left St. Louis after a dispute with Chris Vonderay, the colorful saloon keeper who bought the team as a way to sell his beer. The team faded away after a second-place finish in 1891. In the early days of the American League, Van Johnson, the league president, set up a team called the Milwaukee Brewers. But he saw rare possibilities in St. Louis, and he shifted the franchise there, and that team picked up the name of the Braves. The number of Cardinal starters
Let's put this on here like this.
finished in second place that year, but the next year they were sixth. The good years were the 1920s. A lanky young pitcher from the University of Michigan signed in 1915.
And I'll
After 3
put
mediocre
this
years,
dude on
the pitcher
here.
shifted to first base, and by 1922, George Sisler was hitting .420. That was the year that the Browns hit .313 and scored 100 more runs than the pennant-winning New York Yankees, where they finished a game behind. In the first division 7 times. But in the 1930s, they were 6th, 7th, or 8th,
Sure,
3 times
okay.
each. There were only 8 teams in the American League. 1944 was the year of destiny. The St. Louis fans went wild because both the Cardinals and
Okay,
the Browns were the league's
so
pennants. The World Series was played entirely in sportsman.
you got some short screws and you got some long screws. So
It was all down
the short ones go on the injectors.
Bill Beck had the team pumped up segment attendance with stunts like having midget Eddie Goodell back. But Beck saw they couldn't cope with the kind of money.
Nice when you tear two of these apart, you get extra parts.
The Browns had to be moved. But the league wouldn't go along, and it wasn't helped when Bobo Holloman
And then the longer screws,
his first major league and his last major league start.
I think it might even be one longer than the rest. No? Let's get the ones that aren't all rusty.
Beck finally gave up, sold out. The franchise was moved to Baltimore.
Here.
The Orioles. St. Louis Browns are all fond memories now.
I've got 4 of them. I thought we had 3 of them.
September 29th, 1953.
Nope, that's a short one.
That was the 12-hour Live Missouri with Bob Britton. To listen to show archives, hear about this day in Missouri history, and learn more about the show me day, visit MissouriNet.com.
The talk of Jefferson County, straight talk, AM 1400 KJFF, best is Crystal City, Imperial DeSoto.
Here's the latest from ABC News. I'm Derek Bennett. And now it's tropical storm with winds up to 70 miles an hour, moving off the east coast of Florida.
If anybody's paying attention to what's going on in Florida, make sure you're praying for those people down there that, like Fort Myers, they got hammered today. My grandkids live in on the other side of the state, so they didn't get much. But and some people just really got blasted.
Hallie B is one of the new residents who did not evacuate.
I don't have a home, I don't have a car, and I don't have a job. I used to clean these things. I'm homeless and scared.
We know of at least 9 confirmed deaths in this early stage. President Biden says the storm could be one of the most devastating.
This could be the deadliest hurricane in Florida's history. The numbers are still unclear, but we're hearing early reports of what may be substantial loss of life.
Ian is projected to make landfall again tomorrow near Charleston, South Carolina, as a Category 1 hurricane. Russian President Vladimir Putin will hold a ceremony tomorrow to formally annex the area of Ukraine.
Alright, so this looks a little bit cleaner than what the other one did. Or one did before we cleaned it. Or before we cleaned it.
An overwhelming majority of voters apparently supported annexation. President
Nice and
Zelensky
tight.
pushing back. Moscow said these brutal violations of the UN Charter must be punished. The White House denouncing the elections.
Arizona 72 to 25. The Senate approved a bill to fund the government through mid-December. The House votes tomorrow. Jimmy Thomas.
Okay, that's pretty much it.
Clarence Thomas.
Alright, so let me I gotta cut my screws to get
From the 2020 election.
I
Chairman Benny Thompson.
had to get some long ones to put that plate on, and then we'll get this thing on and take a look. I do want to show you something else.
Well, try to find a needle in a haystack, but not with ZipRecruiter. Its powerful technology actively finds and invites
While we're at it,
candidates to apply to your job. So while other companies might deliver a lot of pay, ZipRecruiter
I picked this up today.
needle in a haystack.
Meanwhile, 4 out of 5 employers who posted a job on ZipRecruiter
Got my air conditioner, got my condenser. This compressor I'm not going to use. I got this from a guy that had it in a street rod, and he went with a different model that had heat in it, because this is just air only. So and I got a sweet deal. I got all that for $100, man. You can't beat that. So we're not going to use a compressor. We're going to use a GM compressor, so I'll have to get some fittings to make that work. But we're going to use the rest of it. So, all right. So let me get this thing on. We'll take a look. All right. So we got this bolted on. I had to use these flush-mounted Allen screws down there because the throttle body would have hit that. And then these 2 screws here, I actually had to cut about a 1/2 inch off of them because they went through this plate and they were hitting the intake, so got to kind of watch for that too. But she's on there and ready to pipe and ready to wire, so I think that's going to be it for tonight. I think I'm going to ball game tomorrow night, but I think Saturday we're going to do I want to get the speedo cable in here and kind of get that routed and nailed down, so I know it's not going to be in the way. And once that's in there, I think we're going to go ahead and put the wiring harness in here and get the dash harness lined out and start wiring all this up. 'Cause like I said, I'm working towards being able to do a test fire on the engine here. So I pretty much got everything I need to do it. I got a fuel pump ordered. It'll be here soon. I got everything to make the fuel system. Got everything to wire it up, and we'll kind of stay on working towards getting this engine fired up and see what it sounds like. At some point I got to throw the drive shaft in before I do that. But okay, that's gonna be it for tonight. Let's pick this. Let's go pick this video back up Saturday and see what we can get done then. All right, morning everybody. It's Saturday morning, and I've been doing a lot of little stuff on this thing, so just kind of a quick review. So got my steering shaft all welded up. Got my set screws in there. Now I got one more to put in there. So up here I just did like 4 spots of weld around this shaft. It's a double D shaft with the 2 set screws in it. If I would ever have to take this off to replace this, which I'm sure I won't, but you just cut those little 4 spot welds and you could separate the lower shaft from the upper shafts. But I fully welded the bottom, and then the bottom slip joint I didn't weld at all. But I did go through, do a full rotation and make sure that nothing is binding and nothing is hitting before you kind of finalize everything on it. So so that's that, and that's done. Went ahead and bolted down the valve covers. Got my sticker on. That makes it faster. That's really important. Accelerator linkage is done. Made that out of the old automatic transmission shift linkage. And what's nice on these TBIs, they got a built-in return spring, so I don't have to run a return spring anywhere, so it's nice and clean looking. And then got fuel lines on the back, so we're going to run some fuel lines today. So today we're going to run fuel lines. We're going to run the fuel lines up here. I still got to finalize them in the back, but I know what I'm going to do up here. Excuse me. I want to get the speedometer cable cleaned off and get it put in. And then I'm probably going to work on wiring. I want to get the wiring harness for the dash kind of lined out and put in, and then we'll get the main harness put in and then get them connected up. So she's cruising along. I also dumped a can of or a bottle of cam break-in lube in there. I'd been meaning to do that, so I always like to use that when I'm doing the cam break-in. So yeah, we're looking good. Lots of little stuff getting done, and let's do some more little stuff, and we'll take a look again. Okay, about ready to wrap it up for the day here. I got a wedding to go to tonight, but we've got speedo cable is in. Ran a couple of wires there that got one for the wiper motor run. I've got my fuel lines on over here. And then I worked on my this is going to be my dash harness. I was going through these wires, and it's kind of unbelievable for the age they are, but these things are still soft and pliable, and the connections look good. So I'm going to go ahead and use this section of the harness since it's kind of already pre-wired. I'm going to change all these bulbs out to LED bulbs. And one thing I'm going to do is, like, if you look at this ignition switch, this is your ignition wire, which is a really small wire. They didn't have HEI back then. They were running points, and then they were running a resistor wire, so you didn't need a big ignition wire to carry that load. So, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to tap off of this wire, and I'm going to just run a relay with this, and put an ignition relay in there with some bigger wire for the HEI on it. So over the next few days, what we're going to do is, like I said, we'll change all these out to LED. We'll kind of, bundle all this stuff up, and we'll get this part put in the car, let these hang down, and then we'll get the other harness put in, probably both harnesses. I'll get the one for the that'll go under the dash, and then I've got to do the engine harness, which is going to come out over here somewhere. So I need to cut some holes in this thing. I've got a cable that's going to go here. I've got a cable that's going to go here. Control cables for this heater. I've got to get AC lines out there somewhere, and I've got to get that engine harness out somewhere. So I got to kind of figure out where that's all going to go. So, and fuel lines up here are done. I just need to hook them up at the back. All right, so that is going to be it for this video. We'll go inside, see what the Lord's got to say, and I appreciate you hanging on. And this is going quicker than I thought. My goal for this month was to get this thing sitting on the ground and test fire the engine, and I'm thinking in a week or two I might be there. I need to put the dry shaft in it yet, which I just really did not want to do today, and the starter and some other things. So, but we're coming along. All right, let's go inside and see what we got. Hey everybody, thanks for sticking along for this video. So rather than do a standard Bible verse like I usually do, just wanted to encourage everybody with what's going on down in Florida and down in South Carolina. I've been watching the news about how we can help those people, and a lot of the leadership down there is saying, don't just come rushing into town, because they really don't have the infrastructure for a ton of people. So it's more of a, support the agencies that are there, that are helping, and that are a little more organized and going there to help. Or if you got relatives down there and they need you to come and help, that's great too. Just remember, there's probably not going to be a lot of places to stay and nowhere to eat, because everything's, the power and everything's off. So I got grandkids down there. Thankfully they were on the other side of the state, and they didn't get it too bad. But anyway, I looked up some agencies that are down there that are asking for financial help, and you can find these online too, but I thought we'd just go through a couple of them. There's one called the Ian Response Fund. That's ianresponse.org. There is a fund called Metropolitan Ministries. Chef Jose Andres and his World Central Kitchen aim to prepare 15,000 hot and cold meals every day to help the people down there and to help the workers down there. So they are located in Tampa, 165 East Francis Avenue. You can look them up. You can also volunteer at metromin.org, so you might want to take a look at doing that. Salvation Army is always a good one, of course. That's the give.helpsalvationarmy.org. There's another one called Rebuilding Together. These are a group of some people who have been through other hurricanes and have formed this organization to help. There's a fundraising page at rebuildingtogether.org/hurricane /Ian, not /Ian, -Ian. Feeding Tampa Bay, that's another organization that is set up for food distribution in the area down there. That's feedingtampabay.org/how-you-can-help. Was one called CORE, donate.correspondence.org. All Hands and Hearts. Go to give.allhandsandhearts.org. Global Giving is another one, a nonprofit agency. They're going to meet emergency needs, food, water, shelter, and long-term support. Globalgiving.org. Globalgiving.org. The Florida Disaster Fund is another good one. The public-private partnership has been set up at volunteerflorida.org/donate FDF. So this is just a few of them. There's several down there. I could keep going. You know, I think the PayPal's got a fun setup. You know, most people have PayPal, most of us car guys. So you can get on there and donate to paypal.com/fundraiser / and there's a big old long number. So rather than read all that off, I'll just say get on, look for PayPal's Hurricane Ian Relief Fund. So it's out there. So yeah, all kinds of stuff. So, you know, this is a time to be generous and open up our pockets. You know, I'm going to be doing that, and to help those folks down there. I mean, if you saw the videos of Fort Myers and some of the ones in South Carolina, I mean, they are devastated. They said the Fort Myers beachfront is just wiped off the map. So yeah, so be generous. Dig into that car fund and give some of that money. Dig into that home fund, give some of that money. Lots of prayers. Make sure we're praying for the people that are going through the hard times down there, and for the rescue workers that are going down there to help them. It's going to be tough for everyone, and you know, as things progress and they start getting a handle on things, I imagine there's going to be a lot of churches. Probably our church is going to send groups down there to help once, you know, things are organized and you're not going in and causing more problems than what they got already. So anyway, just wanted to put out that word of encouragement. Thanks for being on the video day. Let's have a quick word of prayer. Father, we pray for the residents of Florida and South Carolina as they are going through this devastating storm, and we just ask for a lot of generous and giving hearts, that we would you know, we would dig in our pocketbooks and give generously and help these folks out, you know, and then consider ways going forward of you know, maybe we can volunteer some time, but just you know, don't let this just be another news story that blows off in a couple of days and we forget about. Just help to keep it on our mind, and to take this opportunity to help those in need. And we ask this in the precious name of Jesus. Amen. All right, hit like, hit subscribe, tell your friends, and when we come back on the next video, we're probably going to do some more wiring, maybe throw a drive shaft in this thing. All right, talk to you later.